All right. Got another episode of the 330 Club pod, and I got my guest here, Mr. Nicholas Grubnich. What's going on, Grubs?
Mel, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Dude, I love it. This is gonna be great. So, um, for people who don't know, we go way back, and we don't have to dive too much into that, but we've known each other a long time,
Very long. Yeah.
like
I mean,
probably like real
back
long.
in, yeah, probably, probably diapers almost. Growing up around the region, Svethia Church. Yeah, a lot of good memories hanging out as kids.
So yeah, absolutely. But I feel like what's cool is we're gonna get to talk some golf stuff today, and you and I have never really done that in depth. But it's funny because I've been playing a long time, and I wish I would have taken it more seriously growing up. Uh, I was too much into baseball, and you know what that does to your swing.
Of course.
So, first thing I wanted to just dive into is like, how long have you actually been playing?
Yeah. I mean, ever since I could remember, I do not know my life without golf. From what my parents told me, my dad took me out. As a kid, I was running around the driving range in diapers and, um, it gave him an excuse to, get out of the house and go to the golf course, to,
Yeah,
spend some father-son time. And, I just kind of took a liking to it from a young age and, been fortunate, still love it today, 31 years later.
it's funny. My dad had a tee time schedule the day I was born. He had to cancel. I don't think he was too happy about it.
Yeah, I think you were worth it though.
I mean, look, nice September day to golf. That's like if you're golfing in late September and early October and it's still nice weather, you're lucky. So sorry, Dad, but
That's all right. Especially
um,
around here.
no kidding. Well, then again, I know guys who are golfing in the snow and they got like the dark golf balls and stuff, and I think they're crazy. Just go to Florida or Arizona. Like it stings my hands way too much. But
Right.
right
Yeah,
on, man.
I don't think I've gotten to that level of obsession yet.
No, I mean it's good to have a break sometimes
Right. Oh
because
yeah,
like I
makes
think it's so mental.
right. Totally makes you miss it too. Because then when the spring rolls around and it warms up, you're all excited to play again.
Absolutely. Have you gone through any of those like kind of lapses where like mentally you're like, all right, I need a break, and then you come back to it?
Totally. Yeah. Well, especially like, playing college golf, it was like such a grind day in and day out, practice, workouts, tournaments, events, all that good stuff. It's like kind of nonstop, almost a part-time job while you're trying to be a college student. So,
Yeah.
there weren't many, Sunday afternoons laying on the couch when you're hungover. You gotta, keep the grind going.
Well, yeah, that and it's probably a big jump from high school too.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, growing up Northwest Indiana, there were certainly some good players in our area, but I was humbled pretty quickly. I thought I was, big shot around town, and then I went to the next level, and found out the hard way that everyone else was just as good as me.
Well, yeah, and then too, like you also kind of brought it up, like there's a lot more physicality than people realize when you're playing like for school or professionally, whatever it is. Like it's not like easy on your body.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a lot of just walking in general. I mean, I wear a fitness band when I play, and if you walk 18 holes, it's like upwards of 10 miles. You're taking 20,000 steps, like
Yeah.
just in that span of like 5 hours. A lot of time on your feet, and to be mentally sharp throughout that period, it's not always not always the easiest task.
No, especially when it's hot or if it's bad weather or whatever it is.
Totally.
Playing a bad round, then you're kind of like getting in your head a little bit. At least for me, but that's like every time for me.
All right.
As long as I'm hitting it straight,
I got full trust in your game.
dude. I mean, it's always a work in progress, no matter what.
That's right. We could all be better.
I'm trying to find some new wedges soon, though. I gotta kind of work on that a little bit.
Yeah. Have you been playing, much? Did you play a lot this year? And
As
obviously it's
as
winter
much as
now,
I
but
can.
yeah,
Yeah. I didn't try to hit the simulator when I can, but it's just not the same.
definitely not the same. It's, something to get by in the winter, but,
Mm.
yeah, nothing like being outside.
Yeah, someone asked me about that. They're like, "Oh, I've never done that. Is it different?" And I'm like, "It's so like bizarre because like you're used to the ball kind of flying off your club head, and then it's just like, boom, and you're done. And you're like, this is cool because you can make it look like Augusta or whatever you want, but at the same time, it doesn't feel the same."
Yeah. They've gotten a lot better though. I've been playing a good amount of simulator golf this winter. And just like everything else, like the
Yeah.
technology has gotten so far, and it's obviously not the same as real life, but for what it is to like, keep swinging throughout the wintertime and keeping your game sharp, it's not bad.
No, it's definitely better. I mean, people are putting them in their houses now. You know,
Yeah.
if you want to throw 10 or 15 grand, you can order one from Costco, which is kind of
Yeah.
nuts.
Oh, there's like, if you want to like do it tip top Mercedes Benz
Oh,
style, top of the line, you could get it in the hundreds of thousands of
for sure,
setups.
for sure. But I don't know a lot of people who are going like that unless they're making money off of it.
Yeah, no, no, no. I don't blame them, or unless you just got endless money to blow.
Well, like, these places are popping up left and right, but it's like, well, they also have a full bar, so they're gonna make their money back.
Right.
And then
Yeah, that's
people
where
are,
you make your money.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
no,
mean,
they're definitely
because
better.
the simulators you could finance them and rent them out an hour, and like you might clear a little bit of money there, but $12 for a drink when you're you know when
It,
it's about a dollar for what you pay, that's where the money's made.
yeah, and I'm sure there's some, it's weird. Like, you get older and people start playing for the first time. And so you got guys who are like, yeah, I'm going to drink a beer every hole or whatever, and I'm going to do it. It's like, no, you're not. Like, you're going to fall over, I promise. But it's
Yeah.
funny seeing people like, you go to like a net par or whatever kind of place, or some of the bars have them. And I'm just like, these people are out of control.
Well, I know. Yeah. Well, when the bar is that accessible,
Yeah.
it's easy to get out of hand. But it's funny now that we're getting older and our baseball and basketball dreams have kind of faded away, and a lot of people of our age have gravitated towards golf now. So it's fun to broaden the horizon of friends that you can play golf with, and another way to
Oh, yeah.
socialize and see your buddies. And
Yeah. And
um,
it's nice not just doing it
good.
for business, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Um, it's funny you mentioned basketball though. I found a picture. So it's like a film picture, but it was like a digital camera, like early 2000s, terrible quality, blurry, but it's printed on film. And it's from, I don't know, like '06. And it's you and me. We won SNF and we're on the stage and there's like all these guys who contributed, Spike and everybody. And then you and I are holding the trophy up.
Definitely had no business holding
No,
that thing up.
no, we just like
Uh,
shot threes, you know.
you're right. 3-point line to 3-point line. Not a lot of effort, but hey, we surrounded ourselves with the right people, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, no, we had like a one good year. We kind of sold out for the championship, and then it was all over.
Totally.
But I thought that
Yeah,
was funny.
it is funny. Yeah, it's still fun to go to those events. All
Oh
those
yeah,
people that we grew up with. You only get to see them a couple times a year, and it's like lifelong childhood memories and
oh yeah,
friendships that I feel like have lasted forever.
yeah. I mean, especially with people either that you meet from out of town or they move because of work or family or whatever it is. Like that's when you get to see all your people. So it's definitely kind of a special thing that most people don't have.
Yeah, no, we're super lucky, and I know, I listened to your podcast last week. I saw you had Mirche on, and like, obviously, great guy, but I only get to see him a couple times a year. But when we do connect, it's like we never even missed a beat. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all good.
Well, whenever you want to go to Pittsburgh, you just let me know.
I know. I need to go to Pittsburgh. I love Pittsburgh. I've not spent enough time there, or as much as I would have liked, but I think it's a great town. Obviously, rich
Yeah.
sports history, really big serving culture.
Yeah.
I love it there.
I got the city, this flag hanging behind me. It's my favorite city. But have you played a lot of golf out there?
Not really, not a whole lot. I mean, other than like stuff we did in the Serbian tournaments and all that good stuff. But I know there's some like big time, private golf out there.
Oh yeah.
That Mirche worked at one of those courses.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I won't get too much into it, but like hearing him talking about like Steelers showing up there and playing, and different guys, sports legends or current guys or whatever. But also too, the hills are what makes it crazy
I
out
know
there.
it's beautiful, beautiful landscape. I mean, we're stuck in the Midwest in Indiana where it's just like farmland everywhere. It's hard to
Uh,
get the architecture.
yeah, it's. I mean, we have some great places to play, but it's nothing. It's not like these kind of elaborate kind of courses because you just can't do it.
Totally.
But
Totally.
no, that's a great place. Yeah, I love going there. Obviously the sports, but just in general, then you like you said, the Serbian culture is pretty crazy out there as well. And I have obviously my family history, but that's okay. We'll go. We'll probably have to play some golf in West Virginia too.
I would love it.
Shout
I
out
would love
Williams
it.
Country Club.
That's right. Like the half the Serbian population are members there.
Oh my God. Yeah, we'll have to go see if we can get Georgie to go out with us.
That's right.
So what clubs you've been using lately? What kind of gear you've been using?
Yeah. So I mean, ever since I stopped playing golf, well, when I was playing golf competitively, I was fortunate enough to where I had a sponsorship with Callaway, so I was kind of forced to
Cut the hat
not
back
that
there.
I mean they're a there you go, yeah, they're obviously a great brand, but I was kind of tied into all their clubs, and um I definitely have a mixed bag of equipment now. I still have Callaway irons, which are great. I actually have a Shrixon driver, which is kind of random, but I
They're
love it.
making good stuff though.
They're making great stuff. Cleveland wedges. I'm a free agent, man. I found a good guy. I found a good guy in the region who helps fit me for clubs, and I really trust him. And basically, just go to him. He, tells him what I think would be best for me. We'll throw it on the monitor, and I'll play whatever.
Honestly, man, like that's for me, especially for someone like me who kind of played and then would stop because of other sports and whatever. Now it's like I really, getting fitted, getting the right clubs is important. And sometimes you have to mix your brands up a little bit because you're gonna get something that's just better for you.
Yeah, but I will say, like, the technology is so good now with all the brands, and if one brand was actually better than the rest of them, then everyone would play them.
That's
So
true.
you can't really go wrong with most things, but yeah, I mean, I would say the way it looks to your eye is probably most important.
Yeah.
And whatever you're most comfortable with, of course.
No, that's kind of how music gear is too. Like everything is so good now that like it's preference and what you like.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But I did go to the Odyssey. I got an old school like the OG two ball putter.
Hell yeah.
That really helped me straighten it out a little bit, but also it's like got that 2000s look to it. It's super like, that's like probably when I started playing was like 6 or 7. So like around that, late 90s, early 2000s, they were coming out with all that stuff. And like you're a kid, you're not like shopping around for clubs. So now I'm like, this is sweet. I love it. It's like kind of retro almost.
It came back last year. They re-released it. I think it was like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah, it was like maybe 2 years ago. I went and bought one, and I didn't plan on it. I was just like trying out putters, and I think the weight of it, just that mallet style, like it just kind of helped me. And then obviously, like the idea is to line it up or whatever, but everything has that now. But it's just like, I wasn't, I was keeping it straight, and that's hard for me because like that's something I do. Sometimes I'll go move shoulders a little bit too much, and then you're like missing by this much, and you're just like, great, now I can hit a little straighter. Looks cool, love it. Not
You're in,
cheap,
man. Yeah, it's all right.
but sometimes you got to spend.
Price you pay for the swag, man.
Yeah. Well, how about balls? What kind of balls you like?
I play Titles Pro V1.
Oh, okay, same. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
classics.
like, yeah, they're the best. I mean, they're the reason they're the number one ball in golf.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Uh,
it was funny. I used them in the one music video I did where I just had a box, like that's what I hit. So I had a box lying around. I pulled a sleeve out to drop them out, and someone's like, "Oh, like flexing, like and I'm like, "What am I gonna do? Go buy the Kirklands? Like, come on, man."
I don't know, man. You got to go with the best.
I mean, yeah, Titleist makes everything good though.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're definitely a leader in the space. They have like a ton of guys playing their stuff on tour and on TV. So
Yeah,
you definitely can't go wrong with anything they have.
'cause I had some client who is in the golf industry, and I like Cleveland wedges too, but they're kind of talking me into getting some Vokies. I'm like, ooh, I might have to.
Yeah, I mean, well, Roger Cleveland, the guy who started
Yeah,
Cleveland
he
Wedges,
he like yeah.
he got hired by Callaway. So he now makes Callaway wedges as well as Cleveland wedges.
Oh no, you're right. I did read that. Callaway has a lot of stuff under their umbrella right now too. So
Yeah,
they're interesting, but the like you said earlier, the wedges are all kind of. I mean, they're all good now, but it's just like I don't know, it's something different to like kind of the aesthetic of your bag is kind of interesting.
Totally.
I've been veering away. I like how some of these wedges you can get them in the different colors, but I know they're gonna start coming apart, and I'm like I don't want it to look like trash afterwards. So
Yeah.
you know, it
Well,
is
because it's part of their marketing technique because they sell them to you in those nice black finishes, and then you scratch them up after 2 rounds. You got to go buy more.
right. Or the Mizuno and like the blue.
Yeah.
Well, those are pretty nice, but again, like I've just been sticking with the classics because I don't want to. I don't. I'm not gonna need them that fast. I don't know how often you're buying new clubs because I know you play pretty frequently, but for me, I'm like, I want them to last. Obviously, you're going to replace them eventually, but like, do you go through clubs frequently?
I the durability of the equipment has gotten a lot better as well
Yeah.
the last couple of years. Like once again, back when I was like playing in college every single day, I would get new wedges like once every 6 months,
Yeah. That's what
which
I
was like
figured.
obviously crazy. But I would say you can get away with, yeah, multiple hundreds of rounds on your equipment. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, they'll last you some years.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I go a few years and then sometimes you don't really even need to replace it. You're just kind of like, time for something new. I mean, the drivers are out now, they're like bowling balls, half of them.
Oh yeah,
And it's
new
like,
equipment's always great because then you go through the honeymoon phase.
yeah, and you're playing a lot.
You get a new driver. First couple of rounds you'll love it, and then it goes south, and then you hate it, and then the whole cycle starts all over.
Well, when I was growing up, my dad would make me go to the range with just a wedge and a 7 iron. And I was like pissed off all the time because I'm like, I remember one time I bought a new, it was some TaylorMade driver I got. I was younger. It was sick. It was like red and black and whatever. And he's like, no, you got to go hit the 7 iron for a while. I'm like,
Yeah,
but that ended up being helpful. Everybody can hit a drive. It's
oh
not like
yeah,
I'm hitting it 300 yards every time. So it's like, whatever, like I'm gonna hit it straight and that's fine. But like I did as a kid, you're just like, no, I want to crush this ball, and he's sitting there going, no, like you're taking a wedge, maybe two different wedges and a 7, and that's it. Now I appreciate that a little bit more.
right. Yeah, no, I mean they say drive for show, putt for dough. You got to make your money inside of 150 yards.
No kidding. What about Let me ask you about hybrids a little bit too, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Because like growing up, so I actually I took a set of my dad's old clubs out and got him re-gripped to play for fun. He had the original '90s Tommy Armour ones, like not the Dick's ones that they sell now, but like the OG. They're like 30 years old. And there's like I don't think he's a 2. There's a 3 and a 4 in there, and you don't see that much anymore, especially a 3. Except if you buy like a certain one off. Everything's hybrid now. How do you feel about that? Are you hitting those a lot?
Yeah, I mean I do have a hybrid, and I think they're very beneficial, especially for a higher handicap player. Long irons are very difficult to get up in the air, and for a better player, coming into par fives or longer holes and second shots, that allows you to kind of control your ball flight more. When it hits the green, it doesn't skedaddle everywhere.
Yeah,
So I do like them. They are difficult to play in the wind because they do launch so high. But I think the ability to launch them outweighs
yeah.
the ability to not hit them as no end.
Because I remember like when they came out with the rescue, and it was like, hey, get out of the rough. It wasn't really marketed as like a hybrid exactly because they didn't have that on the market.
Yeah.
So it's such a different thing now. Everybody's hitting them. I know a lot of older guys out there, and they're just like, I love them. It's great. And I thought it was funny because I'm sitting there, there's like I have a 3 and a 4 in that set, and then the ping makes, you can buy like basically a 2, 3, or 4 by itself, and they're cool, but they're kind of outdated.
Yeah. Well, now have you seen those? Everyone's coming out with those mini drivers. Have you seen
Yeah,
those?
yeah. There's it's like a tailor-made one that came out last year, that burner.
It's crazy, dude. One of my friends has one. I hit it last summer. They're awesome.
Yeah, and they look
Um,
sick, like the retro kind of look some of them have.
yeah, because a lot of people like aren't comfortable, hitting a driver off of a tee that's off the ground that high. They have like the ground as like a lever to lean on, as like a cane almost.
Yeah,
And like the mini driver, you could tee it up so low, so the ball almost feels like it's on the ground, and you can kind of hit down on it a little bit. And like, I don't know, people like are swearing by these things. I might have to get in the market. You're getting me excited talking about
dude,
hybrids.
I was wanting to get one last year. I wanted to go check it out, and my aunt, who you know is a pretty good player, she was like, "Nah, you don't need that." And I'm like, "Well, look, sometimes I'd rather hit my 3-wood than my driver, so this might be the club I should get."
I'm telling you, dude, it's the best of both worlds.
You know, I mean, I've been hitting ping 3-woods forever. Like that's just been my go-to since I was a kid. And mine's, I know it's not outdated, but it's like a 410, so it's a little outdated now. But like I love how those feel, and now I'm like, this could be a great driver for me. So I don't know. I might have to go check them out now. Man, you're gonna get
Telling
me
you,
to
man.
spend some money after this
Hey, it's all right. It'll be worth it.
and make a trip up to Golf Galaxy
I
just
love it.
because they'll have everything out there. I mean, shit. Um, no, man, that's good. I love like it's weird. Like in the music space, I'm such a gearhead. You know, I'm always buying stuff and checking it out. So when it comes to golf, it's weird because I like getting into that, even though I'm just an average player. But I talk to friends who play and they're just like, yeah, whatever. I just buy whatever's cheap or I just have this or that. And I'm like, I get that it's expensive, but like I get excited about it.
Totally. Yeah. And I appreciate, I would say I'm a golf equipment junkie.
Yeah.
If you're a music gearhead, I follow all the forums on like
Right.
Instagram and, I'll watch the YouTube videos and I'll see who's tweeting about what all the players on TV are playing. And,
Oh man.
um, I
That's
love
a
it, dude.
rabbit hole in itself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure music is the same way where you could just go like crazy and deep rabbit holes.
It's very, very like its own, it's almost like music gears, its own kind of universe as itself. Like there's like a lot of YouTube and TikTok and stuff is just about the equipment itself and not even about the music, which is kind of crazy. And then they'll have guys who are on tour like TikTok, they'll like go through the band stuff like set up before they play. And but golf is like such a great social media space too. Like I follow so many fun golf accounts.
I know it's crazy how like YouTube golf has taken off. I don't know if you've seen any of those
Yeah,
videos.
YouTube.
Yeah,
I follow a lot of guys. A lot. It kind of started because my dad would send me videos of guys like just like here, like watch this. It's gonna help you. And then you go through like okay, what's related, and you get into like crazy stuff.
totally. Yeah, and like even like some of these like social media influencers that you know they're obviously amazing players, but they're not good enough to play on the PGA Tour. They've like turned to this YouTube space and
Yeah. What's the
they're
English
getting
guy's
like,
name?
oh my gosh, Liv just signed him with a deal. Rick Shields.
Yeah, dude, his channel's crazy.
His channel's great.
Like
Yeah.
he's got so much cool content. Like he'll play with like like a Amazon set of clubs or whatever, and I'm like, this guy's really gonna go play 9 with this like driver that's gonna break, but it's awesome.
It's crazy how creative these guys are getting, but they're getting like millions of views on each post, which is
Yeah,
like, part of me thinks like people actually go out and look for these videos, but when you're just like sitting on YouTube and
it's an
I don't know,
algorithm.
you get distracted and the next video plays like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure that plays into it as well.
Oh, of course. And I mean, that's a big thing in and of itself. And not to go down like AI and all that shit, but like that's marketing right there. And Live being is what it is now is a big part of that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I've been watching like the stuff on ESPN where they're having like teams play and it's like simulators and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude,
What
it's
do you think about
wild.
that?
I was getting into it kind of.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like watching a tournament or whatever, but I was like, ah, this is bullshit. And then you see a guy hit a shot and I'm like, oh, it's a good shot. And then you kind of like the other guy comes back and you're like, okay, now I'm sucked into this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's good. They have a ton of stars playing, which obviously helps.
No
I
kidding.
watched a couple nights ago. It was like Tiger and Rory and like,
Yeah.
the who's who
They were
in
trending
golf.
online on everything too. It was like Tiger Rory was trending.
All right. And there's been all this talk recently about how pace of play on the PJ Tour is like so slow and, these guys are taking 5.5 hours to play or whatever. And
Yeah.
they spun up this TGL league and they have like the shot clock that's going off and
Yeah.
like these rounds are happening in like an hour and a half,
That's like
um,
crazy.
which is insane. It's also in a simulator, but still like,
Well, an hour and a
they're
half
getting up there
though.
and they're ready to go.
I think people's attention spans aren't what they used to be either. So you see baseball's got like a pitch clock. And it's weird because like when you go to like Wrigley or whatever and you're just hanging out, you're not really thinking about that, but it does make it go a little bit quicker. You're not there for 4.5 hours watching a 2-1 baseball game or whatever.
All right.
So I think that that's kind of played into that as well. And the live stuff has gone so crazy too lately. Like the money, this Saudi money it's in a lot of stuff. But dude, it's like through the roof. That's why they can get all these stars.
It's crazy, dude. I mean, the contracts that some of these guys are signing for, guaranteed money. Um, I would say every player is in a different situation, and I can't blame some guys for going and doing it. And for some guys, it like totally makes sense.
Yeah,
Like for, Phil Mickelson, like he's whatever, 40, 50 years old now, 51.
maybe older.
He's probably almost mid 50s.
He
And like
looked
he's
like he
on
was 50 in the late 90s.
right. He's on the tail end of his career, and he probably got offered God knows how many hundreds of millions, and like, I mean, just take it right off into the sunset. Like, how do you blame him?
Yeah, I don't think people realize like it's everyone's so critical of it, not just athletes but whoever, but it's like you don't know somebody else's situation, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, that's got to be hard on their families because it's like, yeah, like maybe they're not playing every tournament, but like they're practicing all the time. They're
yeah,
out there, and those are not easy courses to play when they're playing in these tournaments.
yeah. I mean, I don't judge people for going. I don't judge people for wanting to, pursue a more traditional career on the PGA Tour. I mean, they're both great
Yeah,
options. It's not like you're going starving on the PGA Tour either. You're still playing for a
no,
lot of money.
I think, and the PGA Tour thing is like, some guys just kind of find themselves in a situation, and that's what it is. Like, hey, this is where I made it to. I'm here, but like, there's still, I think, a lot of guys who are traditional who like grew up and like for us, like there's no live when we were growing up.
No,
So like, if you imagine yourself as like a golf pro, like you're thinking like the Masters, not whatever else.
yeah, yeah.
So
They just don't have the history yet. So who knows? They might get there, but
maybe
I'm struggling to get into it. That's for sure.
it's definitely its own thing. I mean, like I get excited like when these big tournament like PGA stuff rolls around, I get like excited to watch it, especially like championship Sundays and stuff like that. But I also like I grew up like that. Like I don't know about you guys. I'm sure your dad was super into it. I mean, half the time when I've been at his place of business, he's got the golf on while he's helping me out. You know
Oh,
how
of
that goes.
course.
So it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
when football ended, for us growing up, it was like, okay, now it's golf,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for us in our house, it was golf 365 days a
Yeah.
year. Um,
Well, the Steelers used to be good, so
yeah, man, what happened?
I
First
don't know,
round
fell off the
bounce?
cliff, dude. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Like they need help, man. I don't know what to do.
I feel like they've had the same exact team the last 5 years. Like they're good, obviously solid playoff team, and then just kind
Yeah.
of mosey out in the first round, and that's it.
You know what the problem for me too is, as much as I love them, now that we can bet on sports legally, I'm so into that because I my dad kind of groomed me on that before you're able to do it. So I,
Yeah.
kind of know a little bit of what I'm doing. And like this next 2 weeks, I have my homework cut out because I don't have football after that for 9 months. So throwing the
Yeah.
house at it.
What are you thinking for the Super Bowl?
I would like to see the Eagles win for something new, but I fear that the Chiefs might have it in the bag.
I fear that as well.
I'm looking to get buy down. If right now, if you go Eagles, if you give them +4.5 and go over 43.5, it'll give you plus odds, plus 108. I think I had it at.
Oh my gosh.
So like a grand will make you two, etc. 100 will make you 200, whatever people are playing with. But I try to find like I got that kind of same deal with the Bills game, so they covered for me. It makes it interesting to watch.
Yeah. Because the Bills only lost by three. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I,
you got
I gave
that.
them 4.5. I knew better because I'm like this.
And the over hit too, had to have.
Well, I bought down on the over. 44 is like a key number for overs in the NFL.
Yeah.
So if I can get that and it's not too bad, that's usually where I go. But like, it's hard. Like, I don't advise people who don't know what they're doing with that to just start throwing money at the wall because people get happy. Like, oh, anytime touchdown, whatever. It's like, it's not easy.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm a very cautious bettor. Although I'm not super into gambling. If we're out with friends and going to a game or all watching the game together, I'll get in on the action of whatever they're doing. But
Yeah.
I'm not a daily guy.
I tell people like $5 or $10 and like do a fun parlay or do a touchdown score. Jokic triple doubles like chalk, you know.
Yeah.
But like, don't. I highly advise people to be cautious because that's an easy way to lose money.
Yeah. Well, speaking of yoga, did you see um
Oh, the
at the
hats.
United Center they had the Serbian Heritage Night?
Dude, the hat was sick. I just the Bulls stink. I wish it was a Nuggets hat.
I know. Yeah, that was
Uh,
sweet though.
I know I had a lot of friends who went. I should have went. I always miss it. It just always falls like on a weekday or on a day where I have something going on.
Yeah.
I'm not really tapped into the NBA besides like our guys kind of just because it's fun to see like Serbs come out of a bad situation and kind of be successful.
Yeah.
But the product's pretty rough, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not too into it. I watched the game a little bit on what was that, Monday night. But it's like I just feel like it's such a slow 3-point shooting
Oh,
game.
it looks like our teams.
All right, but they're a little more athletic than us.
Well, and probably a little taller, but you know. Yeah, it's boring. I mean, honestly, I don't know, man. Like, and too, maybe it's just part of getting older. Cause you remember being kids and like, you know, your parents or like your family members who are older would be like, yeah, like, you know, it was better when we were growing up. And you're like, okay, whatever. And then you get old and you're like, yeah, they're kind of right.
Yeah. Then when we have kids, I wonder if wonder if they're gonna say if we're gonna say the same thing.
Well, they're talking Euro NBA league now and like having more NFL overseas. So it's so spread. I'm like, that's gonna be rough.
It's crazy what the NFL's did with like those overseas games, and I was would they go to Argentina or something this year?
They were in like Sao Paulo, Brazil, and then
Brazil.
they went to like Germany. They usually do London. The Steelers are supposed to play Green Bay next. Well, they're for sure playing Green Bay, but they said it's going to be in Ireland.
No way.
So I'm like, this is bizarre. Like, I don't really want that. I want home games.
Yeah. They're
Um,
just the NFL is king right now, man. They're opening up new markets left and right.
the NFL, but I think the NFL is fun because it's not that many games a year.
Yeah.
So it's like you can kind of enjoy it on Sundays, or whatever, Monday night, and like watch it with friends or family. And then it's like, okay, I could go on with my week, you know?
Yeah.
I did go see the Steelers play in Indy, and that Colts Stadium is amazing.
It is really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I was really impressed. It was just like, it was nice to be inside because like I'm not used to that. And then it was just, I don't know, it was just like state of the art. And it's not that new. It's probably 15 years old.
Yeah. Dude, the indoor stadiums are like so much better. I went to a Lions game this fall, and
Oh,
I
was it
would say
sick?
it was awesome. I would say it was, relatively as new-ish as what is it, Lucas Oil Stadium down
I know it's
in
at
Indy.
least 20 years old because the Steelers won the Super Bowl there 20 years ago.
Yeah. And dude, it's great. It's like you're walking inside of a mall.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like we were out tailgating. I was with my com Mirche and with my brother and some other people, and like it wasn't like bad weather, but you know, it was like late September. It wasn't great out. It was kind of rainy. And then you go inside and you're like, oh, this is great. I don't have to sit out in that.
All right. That's
Versus
awesome.
the Soldier Field, it's like it's on the lake. You're gonna freeze to death, and it's only October.
I'm surprised Mariche drove to Indy to go to
Um,
the Steelers game.
well, he was here for like a wedding,
Uh,
and I said, hey, don't be ready to wake up on Sunday morning because we're going to the game. Like we got to.
oh man,
Our
post
boy,
wedding. That's aggressive, but good for him.
we made it. And then getting to the airport the next day on time was another story.
I'm sure.
But Justin Fields balled out in that game.
Yeah, dude, I feel like he's pretty talented. I haven't been following him as much since he left the Bears, but he's definitely has some speed.
Well, also he's an Ohio State guy. But congrats, by the way.
I wouldn't say I'm an Ohio State guy, but
I know, but I know
um,
your family's probably excited.
yeah, yeah. No, my mom grew up in Ohio, and her whole side of the family, I'm sure, wasn't all jacked up, but it was fun.
Yeah, I was kind of indifferent because like I like Pitt and they stink. So I was like, whatever, you know, we'll see who the Steelers can draft out of these teams. That's how I
What
felt.
what college teams? Because I feel like Pittsburgh is very pro sports centric. So, like,
Yeah.
what college teams do people in Pittsburgh root for?
So for
Penn State.
me, like University of Pittsburgh, that's who I like, my dad likes, or Penn State or West Virginia.
Got it. Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, so like Penn State's in State College, which is like in the middle of the state. So it's like Philadelphia people and Pittsburgh people both go there and like are fans. But then Pittsburgh is weird because it's in Oakland, which is like a borough of the city, but they play where the Steelers play for football. So like the
Interesting.
basketball teams there. It's really bizarre. It's kind of hard. They need their own stadium again.
Very strange. Huh.
Like I went there I was in Pittsburgh when I turned 30 and for a couple of years ago and like they played on my birthday, so I'm like, all right, cool, we'll go to the game. And it was like the students show up and they're into it, but like they had one of those dog shit, like they played Rhode Island matchups, like nobody cares. So like some of the bars weren't even open. And I'm like, this is weird because if this was a different college, if it was a college city, how it's different.
Totally.
Like,
Be
I
rocking
mean,
before the game.
yeah, I mean, and I've seen them at Notre Dame. I've seen them at like Louisville. Like I've traveled to see them, and people are going crazy. The students are out, and it's funny when you're older, like us, like when you're not that age anymore. You kind of laugh because you see they're going nuts. It's like 9 in the morning, but it just wasn't. I don't know. It's weird, but they started out 7-0 and then lost six in a row, so that's their fault.
Damn. I made a
Yeah,
bowl game still.
everybody makes a bowl game. IU had a good year.
They did have a great year. That was fun, man. That was fun to watch. I
Signetti,
like Coach Sig. Yeah, I when I was in school there, I maybe went to, this is probably bad for me to say, like maybe 5, 6 games in my 4 years that I was there.
but nobody
And
went then. They didn't have a team.
you're right. And I like find myself like watching IU college football now, which is crazy. But yeah, it was fun to follow. It was like, I feel like the whole school really got behind it, and tickets were selling out left and right. Um,
Yeah, you used to
it was
have to.
great.
I heard somebody say you had to buy football tickets to get the basketball tickets back in the day.
You did. You did. Yeah. It was like mandatory just so they could sell more tickets.
That's
So
brutal.
I was actually a season football ticket holder every year.
That that's what I figured. So you could go see because the hoops were good that back then.
Yeah, it was great. We had some good times.
Because I work with a guy who he's a little younger than us. He went to IU, and he's just like he was super into it this year. But he's like, man, like I got out of there, and then somehow they got good. I don't know, man. It happens. Like good program.
Yeah. And they just signed that coach to like a longer extension. So um,
I had
I'm excited to
there's
see what happens the next couple of years.
Yeah, hopefully they can get some recruits to keep coming in. It'll be good for Indiana to have a team that's not just like Notre Dame.
All right. Well, I saw somewhere in the transfer portal where they already have like upwards of 20 new players from, major market schools wanting to come play in Bloomington, Indiana,
Dude,
which is scary.
it's crazy, but that transfer portal and like this NIL stuff is nuts.
Yeah, what do you
It's
think
like
about it?
I think it needs to be regulated because the schools that don't have the funding are going to lose all their players. They don't make them sit out, and then these guys are staying in college till they're like 26 years old because they're getting paid.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get that, like, some of them aren't going to make the league, but it's like, dude, you can't just, because it's going to be, see, Indiana is a good example of this. They're getting good now, but they don't have the funding that, like, in Ohio State or Notre Dame or Michigan, Alabama, Texas, whatever it is, Georgia, those schools are always going to have the money. That's where people want to go. So it's like, they need to regulate that so that way it's kind of like a salary cap. I think Belichick being in college is going to implement GMs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think of if you're a 5-star high school football player and you have every major school knocking on your door, the question is like who could back up the Brinks truck faster?
Right. No,
And
for
then
sure.
that's
And I don't
that's,
blame them.
that's where you're going. Yeah, you can't blame them.
And a lot of these kids come out of bad areas. Their families don't have money. Like, dude, like take care of the business. Like, I get it. But it's tough when you're like recruiting kids and then they get good and then they bounce right away.
Totally. Yeah. But
So,
so I'd be interested to see what happens. Some sort of regulation, anything to keep it more competitive across the whole landscape.
yeah, because I'm like a fan of watching college football and college hoops, but it's like it's boring when it's the same, especially football. It's the same teams.
Yeah.
And we'll see
Notre
what
Dame,
happens with
Ohio State.
basketball. I don't know.
Yeah. I haven't been watching too much. Isn't Alabama basketball good as well?
I think they're getting a little bit better now. I'll be honest, and I know like you're IU guy, but I was rooting for Purdue when our boy Sasha was there.
I know.
And I know he's a part of the staff, but like, when he was playing, I was like super into it, and now I'm kind of like, eh.
Totally. I mean, part of me was definitely cheering for them as well. Obviously we've known them forever, and that would have been awesome to see. They had some amazing teams, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, a lot of people like about Zach Edey. They were saying like, oh, he's not going to be a good professional player, like all this stuff, and he's like having a great year in the
Yeah, I
league.
I think the things that changed is the league isn't as, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's not as physical anymore. So like some of these guys are young, and then once they grow into their body and they're hitting the pros, like the weight rooms with the pros, like then they get going. Um, who's the kid Zeller out of IU?
Cody Zeller.
I saw him his rookie year. I was at a Bulls game. I think he played for Charlotte, and
Yeah.
Carlos Boozer was just like manhandling him. And it wasn't because he couldn't play; it was just because Boozer is like he looked like a pro wrestler. He's huge. And I was
Yeah.
sitting down there behind the basket, and like, when you ever been like real close at like an NBA game, and you see how big those guys actually are.
It's insane.
I mean, one time I saw Vucevic like dunk on somebody. I thought the rim was gonna come down. I was like, this is
Yeah.
crazy. So I think it's more or less like it's like a physicality thing, but he's so talented, and they're not gonna let guys like maul him now.
I know. No, and he's like definitely developed his shot,
Yeah,
which has been, good to see.
yeah.
So we'll see, because now they're like breeding these like 7-footers that can dribble and move like a point guard.
Those are people.
Right.
I mean, look at like all these Serbs that are coming in, or like Eastern European guys in general, and it's like they're all huge. I'm like, how are we not taller?
Yeah. Why don't we get that gene?
I mean, you're pretty tall, but like I tell people, I'm like 6 foot, and I'm shorter than my dad and my brother and like all my uncles, and I'm like the tallest person at my job. How does that work?
I know.
But I mean, that's kind of the style now too. It's like the European style, like where they're all shooting threes and they're all, like you said, they can dribble up. I mean, Divot's had a little bit of that. He wasn't shooting threes, but he could go up and down the court.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely had some vision. It wasn't just all like pure athleticism, clearly,
Yeah.
because he could barely move.
Well, yeah, especially by the
Um,
end.
but yeah, he had, very nice awareness and knew how to pass and find open people. And,
Yeah.
um, you know, his IQ was higher than most.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of implementing these sports into different areas. Like I'm waiting for more golf courses in Serbia. They only got a couple, and they're not too good. So
I know, not many at all. It's crazy even how that has changed. Like, everyone hits the golf ball so far now. It's like some of these courses that were so amazing in the early 1900s, they're just kind of like obsolete now.
yeah, because they're too short.
Um, yeah, which is crazy. Well, did you hear that they're going to do a rollback of the ball?
No,
You didn't hear that?
no. What's going on
I
with
think it's
that?
I think it's effective like it's not for a while, like 2030 or something.
Oh, okay. So it's got like they're like
Um,
working on it.
and they're gonna make the ball like literally go shorter because
Yeah.
like everyone is, well, especially the guys on TV, like they're hitting it so far and like they're making these courses obsolete, and you just like can't keep stretching courses back. You're gonna run
No,
out of everyone's running out of real estate.
it's much more practical to make the ball go shorter than the course longer, and they obviously have that technology.
Right. Yeah. And now they're talking about like if this is successful, they can bring back some of these like very architecturally sound courses that are just obsolete now because, these guys on TV, they just hit it way too far and it's like it's a pitching putt
Yeah,
for them.
it's like playing the video game
Right.
where you're like hitting the ball like 350 yards off the tee, and that's like doesn't happen.
Right.
Well, we better start stocking up on Pro V1s before they change them.
I know, right? I'll have to actually look that up to see when it's actually going into effect. But I know it's a while. Um, so we'll see.
Yeah, you're playing with somebody, you're like, here, I got balls you can use. You give them the new ones.
Yeah, give them the new ones. But I'm
Oh
gonna buy
man.
them 30 yards.
Oh man. That's uh that's crazy. I didn't actually hear about that. A lot of the accounts that I follow are like more like fun stuff. I like this one called Hood Golf. They're
Oh,
pretty
I've
funny.
seen that.
They're pretty funny, but they're good though. Like dude will like be talking to the camera and then he'll turn around and he'll hit a chip shot and like damn near hit the flagpole, and I'm like, you know,
Is that the guy? Is that the guy when he hits? He's like, "Hey."
yeah. He's like two guys, yeah, and they're all like swagged out all the time.
Oh yeah, I've seen them
They got all the
floating around.
Jordan golf shoes and stuff.
Oh yeah,
That's another thing, and I know we're kind of starting to get a little long, but we'll go a little bit more if you're okay. Um,
sure.
the Nike golf is kind of like it's like leave Tiger not being with Nike is weird for me. And obviously they stopped making clubs probably close to 10 years ago now, but they've been like putting all their effort into Jordan golf stuff.
It's crazy, right? They're like, well, and the whole thing about like Jordan street shoes, how they like do these drops and these
Right.
limited
That's
releases,
why.
and like they're turning that same model into their golf apparel.
There's somebody I know I work with that their daughter plays college golf, and she's like, "Oh, we got these shoes for her. What do you think?" And they're like low top Jordan 9s. I'm like, "What the hell? Like that's crazy." Those are $190 probably, which
Yeah.
golf shoes can be like over $200, but like for a pair of they're basketball shoes with
Right.
spikes on the bottom. So
Yeah,
like I think but you talked about this earlier. Guys who or girls, whatever people we grew up with weren't playing. Now they're getting into it, and there's a whole bunch of people who are into like sneakers and street culture and stuff. There you go.
it's perfect, dude. It's like the perfect marriage because now with all like the COVID boom of
Mm-hmm.
golfers and all of these street wear companies are getting into the space, and it's like they've made these trendy cool kid clothes, and it's not just like
Well, yeah, and then
you
there's all these offshoot brands doing streetwear golf stuff too.
right.
I mean,
So
it's
it's
really
been fun.
wild.
It's been fun to follow.
It's cool. It's Mirta was working with Putts, and my brother did some logo design. My brother's like a graphics guy. He did some logo design with them, and now they're getting some of their stuff. Some guys on the tour are wearing, which is cool. But it's weird, like seeing guys not just wearing traditional.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
Do you you follow Jason Day ever?
Yeah,
You see his new clothing line?
I saw something about it, but I haven't like looked at it or anything. Is it
Oh, it's
crazy
called.
or?
It's really cool. It's called Malbon. Basically, this
Oh yeah, yeah.
same.
No, I do know it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Malbon.
Yeah,
There's
same
some
thing.
throwback '90s type of stuff sometimes.
Yeah, it's some like LA cool, streetwear designer. Just threw some golf clothes together. It's cool.
I follow a lot of them because when they have sales and stuff in the off season, I'll just buy it, because sometimes I'm like, I don't mind spending money on golf stuff, but sometimes I'm like, do I want to spend that much on like a golf shirt? You know,
Yeah. No, it's definitely got it out of control, just like everything else.
it's like it's sick, but like at the same time, like I can just grab like a Callaway or Nike shirt out of my closet and I'm okay. But then you see they do like the crazy patterns, or they'll do them like plain and they'll have like just stuff on the inside.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can go any sort of direction with that.
But again, like you said, it's a big money maker, and that's probably why again these YouTube guys and social media people are getting these deals because they're gonna say, hey, we're gonna endorse you, and then all these people that watch you are gonna buy these drops that they think are limited, but we're gonna do another drop in 3 weeks.
Right. Oh yeah. And I mean, you think of it, you're getting over 1 million views on each thing. That's 1 million impressions right there. And you throw the influencer, whatever, 20 grand, probably making out easy.
Yeah, oh my God, I know, and it's nothing for them.
Nothing.
Oh well, good. Maybe we should start getting into business here.
I know. You get my ideas rolling. We can make some podcast merch.
We'll have to have a business meeting sometime in person, not on the air. We can't give away all our secrets.
That's right.
Couple
We
other
could do.
things. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we could do a limited drop of hats and golf shirts.
Some 330 Club golf stuff.
Hell yeah.
I wanted to do some merch soon, but I was gonna wait for the pod to get a little. Oh, bless you.
Thanks.
I was gonna wait for the pod to get a little rolling a little bit more, but if we do it for golf season, that'd be great.
Sure. And then
So a couple other things I wanted to ask you real quick, just before we get out of here. I know you got some stuff to do. Um, you brought up the COVID boom. Do you have any tips for people who like want to get into golf and maybe aren't sure where to start?
yeah. Oh man, it's a good question. So, along with the COVID boom, there's all these like new avenues on how to get into golf. Like, Top Golf has gotten really
Yeah,
popular.
big money
All
too in
these
that.
big money in that, like all these simulator places that we said that's popping up. It's like definitely a less intimidating entryway into golf. Like, go there, hit a few shots, have some drinks, get some food, like hang out with your friends, like just get a feel for the game. And then, you could slowly graduate into hopefully, formal lessons, formal course play and all that stuff. Cause I
Yeah,
feel like, just starting off, um, it's a big hill to climb. I feel fortunate that I got into it early, but I feel like people are lucky now though with the boom that it's had because of all these new beginner outlets of simulator, Top Golf, all that stuff.
yeah, and it's funny. Like I talk to people know that I generally, I've been playing more and more as the years have gone on, and they want to start and they're like intimidated, and I tell them straight up like I play because I like it. Don't ever be intimidated because I'm not. I might be better than someone who's never played, but I'm not a great golfer, and like I know a lot of people who are pretty good. You're very good, Mircha, but then you were talking about you going to school and then being like, oh, now I'm humbled a little bit. Like, don't worry about the competition. Just work on your own game and enjoy it.
It's all relative. I tell people that all the time.
Yeah.
And some people I play golf with all the time are probably sick of me saying it, but it's like, some people play golf with me like, oh my God, you're so good. Like, I'm like, yeah, to some people, but like to other people, no.
That, but also too, like when you do, like it'd be like somebody, me picking up a guitar to somebody who's never played one before.
Oh yeah, if I watch you play the guitar right now, I'd think you're Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, and I'm just like watching. I like watch. I go to shows and I'm like sitting side stage watching people with my jaw on the ground. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's all like you said. It's all relative. You got to enjoy yourself and do it for fun. I just had two quick questions before we wrap it up, and then anything you got. But are you gonna check out this new Happy Gilmore?
I am, dude. I'm excited. I actually just saw the preview. It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, I saw it on there too. It's supposed to air on Netflix.
Do you know when it's dropping?
I don't know the date, but I just watched the preview and I was like, man, the first one is an all time classic. So
Dude, I think I could recite every line from the first one. So, and I'm not like a big movie buff guy.
no, me neither.
So like I will definitely be tuning in day one.
Sandler,
It's dropping.
Sandler's '90s stuff is also good, so I know all those movies, but I'm not a movie guy myself. So
A really good Twitter account you need to follow is there's a fake Shooter McGavin Twitter
yeah,
account.
I follow that one.
Oh my God, it's hilarious, dude.
Dude, yeah, he like is always like talking shit to Adam like in character and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is really good. I was gonna go follow it, and I'm like, nope, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah. And he like plays on current events and current
Yeah, it's like
memes and all that stuff.
it's modern. There's another one I follow like that. It's like a modern Seinfeld,
Yeah.
and it's
It's
just like
hilarious.
it's good stuff.
People on the internet are so creative. It's insane.
Hey man, I mean, like the internet can be awful sometimes, but if you stay away from the BS and the negativity and you're just enjoying yourself, there's some great stuff.
Oh my God. All day.
And then just in general, because I'm a music guy and like podcast is not about music but very music centric. So I was just gonna ask if you've been jamming any specific music lately. It could be anything new, old, really anything.
Oh man. Dude, I have the worst taste in music ever. I think if you looked at my Spotify rap, you would probably throw up.
I like
I
everything.
I hate to admit that I listened to today's top hits.
It's okay.
Um, and I tell people, they're hits for a reason. They're number one on the charts for a reason because they're the best songs.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I was just asked because like maybe I'll have to send you some music. I've been on that new the Mac Miller album. That's like the last one that they put out. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I was just gonna. I always ask people that like what they've been into. But like I don't know, man. I mean, you and I go. We used to be like some hip hop guys back in the day when that was popular.
Send me a couple playlists. I got a flight tomorrow, so I'll
Yeah,
download the playlist.
I'll send you a couple playlists tonight, and I'll try to mix it up so it's not all like the same, and then you could flip through it.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No, dude, this is awesome. I think this is my first ever official podcast.
I don't know how official I am.
But we'll definitely have to do this again. Maybe we'll get a live session going.
Yeah, I would love to do it again, absolutely. And then when I was talking to Adam and Stevie, they said we all need to get together and do one called World's Worst Takes.
We should do like a roundtable discussion at the hall one time.
Oh my
And
god!
you can just plop the mic in the middle of the table,
Oh no,
and
I
you can
got
just
mics for
have at it for
everybody.
an hour. Or yeah, even better.
I got the whole dude. I mean, I record music in here. I got the whole nine. So forgive the pun expression, but I got it. We'll be good. We'll definitely do this again soon. And is there do you want like if people want to follow you for like golf stuff on Instagram or anything? Do you want to give a handle or
Uh, Shoot, I don't even know my handle.
if you
How
don't
about
want to, it's okay. I'll put it in the description.
we'll put it in the description because I don't even know my handle. But yeah, people can follow me on Instagram. Maybe I don't think I post on Twitter or TikTok or anything, but we'll keep it on Instagram.
We'll do some TikToks when you and I play some golf this summer.
Hell yeah, I love it. If
All
it's
right.
still around,
Well, it was down for 2 hours and it made a comeback.
I know. So
I was all
Lord.
these girls. I was asking them like, "Hey, like, did you survive? Like, were you good for 2 hours? Because that shit was gone."
No,
So
nobody knows what's happening now.
I don't. Hey, man, I just go day to day. I have no idea what's happening.
That's right.
All right, brother. Well, hey, thank you for doing this with me. It was awesome, and we will do it again soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mel. Talk soon, buddy.